Welcome back to Norsley TV.
Yes, welcome to all our viewers. It's an exciting episode we have for you this evening, but unfortunately it's not an exciting time of year.
No, we have the 9 days. Tisha B'Av is next week, Sunday.
Yeah, the most tragic time on the Jewish calendar. It's the time that we mourn, and I think we're all in mourning. It's the time when the Romans came. They came from Rome, the capital of Italy, and they came to conquer. And this is a sad time for our nation.
Yes. So, just a couple of weeks ago, we had a very interesting tour of the East End, the old Jewish, where the Jews all started. Well, not all the Jews, but a big chunk of them.
Wow. I hear it was quite the exciting event. A lot of people came, and tell us a little about it. I wasn't there. You were there.
Yes, we walked, I couldn't believe it. It was like a long walk. It was good, like 3-4 hour walk. In the East End, we learned about the history of where they all started, the chicken soup shelters, where they still have the sign up there. It's amazing. And of course, we went to visit the shul, David Parlon's, Alav Shalom, who sustained the minyan there. So it was really at Sandy's Row, absolutely. And we saw some other shuls that are no longer shuls, but you could still see the remnants of it. And it's really special, to see that there was Jewish life, and there, I think the
Jewish life continues.
And Jewish life continues. I mean, there's no kosher restaurant there. They all reminisced about the Bloom's restaurant where they used to serve the chicken soup with the thumb in it. I don't know how COVID friendly that is, but back in the day, they all remembered the Bloom's restaurant. So yeah, I mean, I think all over, the world really, you see Jewish remnants of inhabitants.
Migration,
Migration, absolutely.
And yet the Jewish nation remains, and I think that's the message of the 9 days now.
Absolutely.
The Romans exiled us, but we may have been exiled from one country to another country. But at the end of the day, today we have a state of Israel, and we have a vibrant Jewish people in the diaspora.
Yeah. And even though this destruction of the temple happened, over 2,000 years ago, we still remember it today. We have to remember it today. To remember that we do have a holy temple that we need to yearn for and we need to pray for. And so that's why we have this time to remember. And so on Sunday, we are fortunate to have with us Dr. Charles Landau, who will be giving us a talk.
Yeah, he's talking about the Rosenberg
trial. Yeah, but Martin Kay interviews him and asks him all about why we have talks over Tisha B'Av. I mean, so let's go over to hear what he has to say.
This evening I'm delighted to be interviewing Charles Landau for Norsley TV. Welcome, Charles, to Norsley TV.
Thank you, Martin.
Now, many of our viewers will know of Charles because they have accompanied him on one or many of his Jewish trips to European cities, where he highlights both the Jewish past and the Jewish present. This year, you will be giving, if I'm not mistaken, your 10th talk to Norsley on Tisha B'Av.
Absolutely.
We're looking forward to it. But tell me, on the subject of talks on Tisha B'Av, this has become something of a tradition to have a talk or show a film. How did this come about?
I think that many centuries ago, the rabbis and leaders of Jewry recognized that the events of the destruction of the temple were further and further into the past and may not hold the attention of those living in a particular place at a particular time, many hundreds of years later. And you get a development of many of the kinot, the elegies remembering the destruction of the temples, which allude to events which took place in the medieval period, whether it was events to do with the killing of Jews and destruction of communities, or events which were destruction of books, like the burning of the Talmud. And these elegies culminated in the latest of the elegies, which was one commemorating and memorializing and remembering the Holocaust itself. From there came the idea in our day that also the destruction of the temple was a long time ago, and we need to bring its relevance into our day and age. And thus, you begin to get talks, invariably about the Holocaust, but not necessarily, and films on that subject as well, to try and make the day more relevant.
But this year, if I'm not mistaken, you'll be doing something different.
I thought, having probably done all previous 9 talks, more or less every talk which goes on around the Jewish world on Tisha B'Av, has to do with the Holocaust. But I was reading Sylvia Plath's book, The Bell Jar, which begins with a reference to a sultry summer's day when the Rosenbergs were electrocuted. And this year is the 70th anniversary of the guilty verdict passed on Ethel and Julius Rosenberg in 1951. Not the death, which took place in 1953, but the verdict which was passed in 1951. This was just after the Holocaust. This was just when Jews were reeling from the effects of what had gone on in Europe. And as soon as they were reeling from that, came a new danger, a new world, a new communist threat, which influenced the whole of America.
Well, some have called this the American Dreyfus. Do you think this is a true description?
Yeah, there are many, many books, plays, films, poetry, music even, written about the Rosenberg affair. This is something which has caused immense controversy. There are those who believe the Rosenbergs were entirely innocent of all crimes as the atom spies, and those who felt they were absolutely guilty. By today, there is a tendency to go along with the latter view, that certainly Julius and probably Ethel were guilty of spying against their country. To call it the Dreyfus affair is something which we will have to address when I give my talk next week, but it is, again, a controversial statement.
Well, I didn't mean to be controversial, but I hope it's invoked the interest of our viewers. Now, the talk is taking place in the Max Weinbaum Hall. Numbers, as I'm sure you understand, are limited. It is also being live streamed via Facebook Live, HGS's own Facebook Live site. If you would like to come along to the Max Weinbaum Hall, you will need to email Gail at hgss.org.uk. You do not need to be a member of Norris Lee, and there is no charge. By the same token, should you wish to view it on Facebook Live, you do not need to have a Facebook account. You just need to go to Hampstead Garden Suburbs Synagogue's Facebook site, and you'll be directed to its Facebook Live site. Again, if there's any problems, you can email Gail at hgss.org.uk.
Even email me.
You can even email, Charles at charleslandau.com. Oh, God gracious me. Well, okay, thank you very much, Charles. I hope we've aroused the interest of our viewers. And, well, I don't hope to see them packing Max Weinbaum Hall, but because, as you know, as packed as possible, yes. Socially distanced, yes. Socially distanced.
That's a bit of a mixed metaphor.
I think that is indeed. Okay.
Okay. So it's on July 18th, following Mincha.
Excellent. Well, that's really sounding like something that I'm signing up for. I know we also have other events happening on Tisha B'Av. We have a tour of Willesden Cemetery. Now, Willesden Cemetery is one of the original, way before Bushy, people were being buried in Willesden. Willesden has now been set up as a heritage site, and we've arranged in the afternoon to have a HGSS tour of Willesden. So if that's something you're interested in, please do speak to the office. Now, we also have a wonderful other piece from Charles today.
We continue part of our Jewish Book Canon. Yes, very, very exciting. We continue with the recommendations.
So let's hear what he has to say. Is the ideal book that belongs in the Anglo-Jewish canon?
Okay, when I was first approached to speak about a book, the natural inclination is to choose a book which one has read in the last 5, 10, 15 years, which has been inspirational and inspiring. And there are many of those books. Most of these books one has read once. It leaves you with a good taste, and you move on, a book to discuss and debate for some while. But today I want to suggest to everyone to buy for themselves the Encyclopedia Judaica. Now, encyclopedias within the Jewish world are not new. There's the famous Funke and Wagner one from 1905, which is a superb work and exceedingly interesting because it leads as far as the Holocaust, but of course doesn't deal with that period because it was published much before it. But the volumes I want you to acquire is the latest, which is the Encyclopedia Judaica of 1972. This had the advantage of superb articles on every aspect of Jewish learning, history, religion, theology, philosophy, geography, of all the Jewish world. And it contains within it, which is unique for the encyclopedias, beautiful maps, beautiful charts, and great photographs. What is special about this encyclopedia is that you can open it up volume by volume and be inspired on numerous topics that you're interested in. And importantly, you can open it up on a Shabbat and a Chag as well. You don't have to rely on Google. But Google can offer much, but it cannot offer the feeling of the love and the specialness that you get from holding a book with its touch and its smell. And by opening up many different volumes, you can flick from subject to subject. And if you just take this volume, which I have in front of me now, you may be interested in a particular place. And then you'll suddenly go, gosh, right next to it, I didn't realize there's an article on motion pictures in the Jewish world. Articles on mourning come next to it. And about the Mullah. And then Muhammad and the relationship of Judaism with Islam. And next to that, it deals with the city of Munich in Germany, its history. And then Munkac in Hungary. And this is merely by opening up just one volume. And before you know where you are, you have enjoyed hours of glancing through this encyclopedia. I can only recommend it. Maybe it is more expensive than a single volume of a single book, but relative to much in life, it is something well worth having.
Well, that's interesting. I think
everybody has. Let me just see what we can find.
I'm not so sure. You know, just a few months ago, people were cleaning out their bookshelves and always looking for someone.
Let's see what we can find in the Encyclopedia Judaica.
That's right.
Today. Okay. Rudolf Hallow lived from 1896 to 1933. He was a German art historian, friend and successor of Franz Rosenzweig as head of the Freies Jüdisches Lehrhaus in Frankfurt. Hallow was born in Kassel to a prominent family of court Jews and artisans, which included Israel Aaron Hammerschlag of Prague and his grandson and namesake, who was made a court Jew in 1657 by Frederick William of Brandenburg. There you have it.
Yeah, right. How do you get into that book? How do you make it in? But they have quite a lot of information, so definitely.
Shall I see if you're there?
You Google me now, no? Excellent. Thank you, Charles, once again, and we look forward to hearing him in person, which is really exciting. We can finally have things happen in person. I mean, we've been bringing our shiurim back in person, and it's really something special.
Yeah, we've got a great shiur tomorrow evening with Rabbi Dr. Rafi Zarin. We continue the Rabbinic Chavrusa, where I learn a text of Rabbi Lord Sachs of blessed memory each month with a different rabbi. And tomorrow night we look at the Great Partnership, which is Rabbi Sachs's piece on religion and science, and ne'er the twain shall meet. And Rabbi Dr. Zarin is actually a scientist just as much as a rabbi. He has a PhD in physics.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to discuss that book.
Well, it's actually quite interesting that you have him this week. I mean, LSJS has been in the news for the past couple of weeks. And will you be discussing the issue that arose?
Well, you know, we at Norrisley, we like to stay cutting edge. And so, yes,
Wow, okay.
Rabbi Zaram will address the controversy over women's ordination at LSJS tomorrow night, Tuesday evening, live at HGSS. It won't take up all the evening, but he has promised that he will not avoid the issue.
You could bring on the question, just like we had on Sudat Shlishi, we had the Diane Hall from Federation.
That's right.
Very exciting stuff, you know.
Yeah. We always make sure to bring you the very best of what's happening live at HGSS. Diane Hall, Diane from Federation, he spoke really well. He really defended the position of Federation in terms of the new law that's come into place that is designed to protect abused women and how that fits together with the workings of the Beis Din regarding the giving of a get.
It's a shame we couldn't record it. That you can't get Facebook Live on Shabbat, but he was really amazing.
Yeah, we might have to feature him on Norrisley TV at some point, but meanwhile, I encourage you, show up in person, come to our Suda series, come tomorrow evening. Tomorrow evening will also be live streamed, but it won't be the same if you can't be there to ask the questions.
So talking about things in person, you know, we finally had our guests back.
Yes.
Very exciting.
Shabbos tables. And now, who are our most precious, wonderful guests who get the first seats at the table? Our youth. So a week and a half ago, we had year 13.
In the garden.
In the garden, of course, because our numbers are still limited in the house. But we had in the garden.
Right before the summer break, we were able to catch them in the next few weeks, and it was really wonderful to see them.
Year 12 this past Shabbat. This coming Shabbat, we have year 10, and we hope to continue after the summer with other year groups. So our home is your home, and this is really exciting because the youth is up to a whole new episode.
Yeah, where we meet the new youth leaders.
Yes, new youth directors at HGSS. They're in Israel. They're coming in August. Let's go over and meet our new youth directors.
Okay, Tzivya and Netanel, welcome to Norrisley TV and welcome to the Norrisley family. Tzivya and Netanel, our new youth directors.
Woohoo! Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
You're currently in Israel at the moment, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're almost all.
But you're not from Israel. Where are you from? Tell us a little about yourselves.
Right, so I'm from London. I was brought up in Golders Green.
I grew up in Johannesburg, South Africa. So yeah, my whole life until now, till like 2.5 years ago when we moved to Israel together. So
How did you meet? How did London meet South Africa, Johannesburg?
we met in Israel. I was like a madricha in a seminary, and
I was in yeshiva and
it was someone, I don't know, my mother has a friend in Manchester who was telling her to call someone, and like it was
it's pretty random.
Both happened to be in Israel. Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, pretty random.
Very nice.
No, so I'm saying in South Africa, it's my grandfather actually started up the first like shul that introduced a lot of people to like Judaism, and it was a mixed community, so there was like all ranges of people, and so we started off there and we moved to a different community, but I grew up it's not so far away, so I grew up always part of that community and affiliated, and then now I've been working in Israel at the Heritage House, which is a youth hostel in the old city of Jerusalem, and there's programs all the way through the year where people come, like youth come, internship age, it's a whole different age range, and I'm the one who coordinates all the programming and the events and the background logistics, and I get involved also with actually running programs like sushi events or challah bakes, or they always want me to come on like the trips, but they leave at like 4 o'clock in the morning, so I try to avoid. So yeah, I've been involved now for 2.5 years there, and it's been great.
We have 1 or 2 South Africans in our community. So who tell us, just give us some context. Grandpa, I mean, so would people know?
Yeah, so my grandfather is Rabbi Albach,
Yeah.
Rabbi Yecheska Albach. So he's the one who started the community Or Sameach in Johannesburg. And my father is Eliezer Albach. He's a singer in South Africa. So maybe some people have heard his songs or watched his music video, which, yeah.
And which school do you go to in London?
I went to Hasmonean. I went for high school. And I also, since like the age of 7, I was involved with Ezra Youth. So all the way from being like a chanech, like going on camps, going to the weekly programs, all the way till probably the age of like till the age of 2021, taking camps. I took camps in Wales and in Scotland, and then on to taking tour to Israel. We went, which was unbelievable, like literally the best experience. So I've literally my entire life up into the past like 2 years was involved with being heavily involved in Ezra, running camps, and just so it's been really, really interesting. Yeah.
What's like the best part? What's the best part of working with the kids, the youth?
So I think for me personally is just like the chilling together, and just like the bond, like just being together like as a group of guys, and not necessarily feeling like I'm up here, you're all down here. But like just really like just chilling and just the chilled atmosphere. Yeah,
I enjoy like the youth's enthusiasm. They're usually just like more positive than older people and more just open to doing like random interesting things or challenging things. Like they're up for a challenge or something different, and I like organizing those sort of things or joining or being part of it, and I feel like it's a lot of fun. They're fun. Youth are fun.
Yeah. A lot of questions, always wanting to know about things.
And how long are you guys married?
So 2.5 years now, and we got married in Johannesburg just before a year and a half before Corona, pretty much.
Yeah, thank goodness it was that year.
Yeah.
It must have been hard. You probably haven't seen parents for the last.
Well, we were actually stuck out of our 2.5 years in Israel. We were stuck in South Africa for 9 months of those 2.5 years, 6 months last year and 3 months this year. So we got to spend a lot of time with my family, and which was nice because when would we ever get the chance? Now we're moving to London, so it will be for a short amount of time if we go. So I thought it was quite special to get to spend time with them.
Yeah, and we spent a lot of that time on holiday on safari. Like really a long time there. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw pretty cool stuff. We'll share. We'll bring it out slowly. You know, one experience.
Yeah.
So when are you planning to come on down?
22nd of July.
Yes.
Wonderful. We are so excited to have you on board and can't wait to have you here in London at Hamstergarten Synagogue.
Thanks so much.
We're also we are so excited.
We're really excited, and we really feel so welcome in the community, and like we're really excited to get involved. And
we'll see you really soon.
They seem like a really lovely couple.
Yeah, please guys, it's going to be an exciting year ahead for our youth and for the entire shul.
Yes, and I'm sure now that we can be in person, there'll be lots of events in person, and we look forward to having more youth services and more events.
And really the aim is to widen it so we get as many youth as possible involved, kids who haven't been engaged over the past 18 months and longer. We want your kids, your grandchildren, tell them about the programs and get them involved. We have 500 teenagers and 500 kids under the age of bar and bat mitzvah. Amazing. And we want to be able to see these out of 1,000 kids. You know, we want to be able to see a weekly youth minyan and other programs happening.
Right. I mean, we even have Camp Kochavim right in our shul, right? The camps are starting, and with Tribe as well is available.
Yeah,
so look out
sign up your kids for these summer programs. Let's get them involved, engaged, and back up and running.
Make sure they still need to be connected to their Judaism. Yeah, very important.
Mens sana and corpore sana, healthy mind and a healthy body. And
today, yes, a few weeks. It's about a couple months already now. We had Deborah Paul, one of our fitness instructor, one of our local members who's a fitness instructor, tell us all about the importance of moving, and any type of movement is really important, not so much for the body, but also for the mind and soul. And so we have a few more in our neighborhood, in our community. We have Karen Berman, who I went over. She does her slam fitness out in the park, but also had to go over and do Zoom like everybody else. And so I went and caught her up in the park as we opened up. So let's go meet Karen. So Karen, Slam Fitness, welcome to Norris Lee TV.
Thank you so much.
So this is your playground here, huh?
Yeah, this is where it works. Today we've got the most beautiful weather, but we're here, rain, shine, snow, whatever, and we are actually in the shade despite the beautiful sunshine.
That's right. So tell us, it's been tough during COVID. You couldn't be outdoors, let alone, do anything outdoors. So
well,
how'd you manage?
We were limited. So at the beginning it was pure Zoom, and a little bit with trepidation went into Zoom. Wasn't very excited about being behind a camera or in front of a camera. And then from there, Zoom was great, getting loads and loads of people moving, keeping fit, keeping healthy. And then wherever we could, we came out for the small group of 6. And we've continued all the way through.
So now I know you offered family Zoom workouts. Yeah. That was really kind of you, very generous.
That was great. So that was like 3 times a week at 4:30, and it was aimed at the kids, but really then aimed at getting the parents and getting the whole family out together.
Moving. That's awesome.
To keep going.
So now that we're slowly getting out of lockdown, we are out of lockdown.
Yeah.
We're getting back to a little bit of normalcy. Are you getting off of Zoom? What's your
We're doing
plans?
both.
Oh!
So it's amazing how many people still really enjoy Zoom, and how convenient it is. 45-minute session, you can be back at your desk within 2 minutes. So that's carrying on every morning at 9 a.m. and then we're doing outdoor park sessions, and all my PT is continuing in the gym, which is quite exciting too.
Oh, that's exciting. I know that people like to be outdoors as well. We have a few waiting for
coming.
the class
They're
to
waiting.
come in
They're
at
waiting.
Wednesday 6 p.m. and Sunday at 10. So we'll let you go.
Thank you.
Good luck, and
Bye.
we
We'll
could
see
find
you
you
soon.
at you have a website or Instagram?
Yeah, Karen at slamfitness.co.uk
Okay.
or Slam Fitness London.
It's always a pleasure to have another member of the shul right across the street,
That's
right around
right.
the corner.
Yeah.
So thank you for all the work you did, and keep up. I know you were inspiration to many.
Thank you.
Giving them hope and
keeping
strength.
everyone moving.
Keeping everyone moving.
Exactly.
So continued strength. Only good news.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
She's always so full of energy, that woman. And she's like, pumped up, ready to go. And always, when you see her in Littleton Park, just give her a wave. And I'm sure she'll be an inspiration for you to get up and move.
Yeah, even our Millie, who's here for the summer, has been enjoying Karen Slam Fitness.
Yes,
and
we saw her in the video. She's it's great to be outdoors and be with nature and really enjoy the fresh air. That's where I like to work out. I know you like to do indoor workouts. Rabbi.
Yes, indoor in the mind.
Indoor time. We do have a little bit of a gym, believe it or not, that he every so often gets some encouragement. But we have as well Sharon Neilsen with the CyClub out in the marketplace with her Spit Cycle Club. So went over to the club that were finally reopened as well, and met Sharon. Welcome Sharon Neilsen to Norris Lee TV.
Oh, thank you.
So we are at the CyClub right here at Marketplace, right?
We originally decided to call the business the CyClub because we were all about social fitness. That we weren't about the measurement and the metrics with the high-tech bikes, with all the stats and the data, mostly at the time because we couldn't afford it, but practically because with social fitness, there's the removal of the competitive element, which puts a lot of people off. There's a lot of anxiety with exercise, and there's a huge amount of people that want to do it but are actually afraid. Right. So we want to remove the fear by making it more about togetherness and coming together, about fun, and to encourage people who've never done it before to do it by explaining to them that you can't fall off the bike. It's a stationary bike. There's no setting, so I won't tell everybody to go to level 7. It's personal. If you're struggling, you turn down. Wow. It's a very minimum. Everybody can complete a class. So with that in mind, we introduced a beginner's class, We had so many people who literally never entered a gym in their lives and now are regular addicted spinners.
So how did you cope during COVID when things had to shut down? I mean, you needed the stationary bikes to be able to continue this, right? I mean, that's one of the advantages of coming to the club. So what did people do? What did you do?
I mean, when I started the business, I knew years ago about the concept of online spinning as well. I'd been to New York, I'd seen Peloton over there, but I didn't quite know how that would ever work. But at the time I did wire the studio for going online. It was at the back of my head. But that week, I mean, my business partner Hills had COVID. Inadvertently, she gave me COVID. We had to shut down, and so in 48 hours I rented out all the bikes to the members.
Wow.
I pulled a contract off a bicycle rental company in Santa Monica, and I changed the words.
Wow, amazing.
Because obviously we needed some legalities. We needed to look at how we would do it. We arranged for transport, and then I came up with the name CyClub on Demand. On Shopify, we did a quick transaction, and
You had to pivot. You literally had to pivot onto home.
pivoted out of desperation.
Wow.
Because I needed to carry on, and that's always been the focus.
Right.
I wanted and needed to keep spinning, and I knew that others wanted that too. And honestly, the bikes went within 5 minutes. When we were doing Instagram and Zoom, which in itself was not easy, people expected it to work immediately, and it didn't. It's very challenging.
It's hard, yeah.
Especially with spinning. Your sound has got to be synchronized because we cycle to the beat of the music.
Right.
That's
So,
how
and on Zoom, there's a delay.
Correct. So the delay was off.
my
On
God.
Instagram, everything is mirrored back to front. And if you play a track on Instagram that has music rights, Instagram will take you off straight away. Now we pay music rights,
Right.
but Instagram doesn't know that.
Right.
So we had to get around that. So every time you found a solution, there was a new challenge.
So now you're back open, which is very exciting, but very different, right? Let's take a look at the studio. Can you show us around? And
I mean, obviously we have the same COVID procedures in place.
oh, you see the face masks, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but one of the things we used to do is we used to give towels to people, and we'd take a donation to spread a smile, and then we'd launder them afterwards. But we
Okay.
can't do that anymore. We didn't want our staff touching towels that have been used as well. So now we sell the towels. Obviously we do temperature check and hand sanitizer. We social distance. Studio. This is the
Wow.
the post-COVID
I
studio.
love the lights.
The blue lights are very tranquil.
So how many bikes are in here?
We have 14 bikes, but we used to have 24.
24.
So at the moment, it's quite.
Very.
I mean, it's wonderful, but it's a little bit heartbreaking that we have to turn people away at the
Yeah,
moment.
I can
When we
imagine.
know we can accommodate them, but equally, through going online at the same time, so we do it on Instagram, we have more. So we have every class is live in studio and virtual. There was so much isolation, and then when we opened up, you saw people sitting together saying, "Oh, are you Mark? Oh my goodness!" They formed like virtual friendships.
Amazing.
That are now
Beautiful.
real, and there's even another group. There were different groups that meet for coffee twice a week, and all walks of life,
Excellent.
different religions, different ages, male, female. You know, just coming together over the joint love of spin. And I actually, the one blessing I'll say that COVID gave us was that it broke down the barriers between people, because it increased their appreciation for social spin.
Wow.
So now they come and everybody's introducing themselves to each other on the bikes and greeting each other, whereas sometimes before there was an invisible barrier up
Right.
there.
Well, thank you very much. This has been wonderful. We wish you much hatzlacha and continued, and mazel tov for Ava's upcoming bat mitzvah.
Oh, thank
and
you.
Yeah, we look forward, to come try it out.
Yes, well, I'd love all members to try the beginner spin, try the teens to try the teen spin. If you're fitter, a regular class will do too.
Okay.
We welcome all shapes, sizes, and ages, and especially those who are injured like myself.
Really? Wow, amazing. Okay, thank you.
That sounds very exciting. And I understand the Neilsens have a bat mitzvah coming up in the next couple of weeks. Ava's bat mitzvah, mazel tov to the entire family, and we're looking forward to it.
Absolutely, and she's doing a fundraising spin cycle for it, so it's very nice. I mean, it's really exciting because one of the beauties of being in a gym is really about doing it together. And you know, as she said, there's this real social part of it, but at the same time, doing that hybrid of the Zoom and in person. I mean, that's what we're, you know, we brought my shear out in the garden. Everybody loves it, but there are a few people still on Zoom, and so you know, we're gonna be able to try to figure that out. I mean, we're Norsley TV still on Zoom, right?
Oh,
Facebook,
people always watch TV. But we're reaching Freedom Shabbat very soon. Next, a week and a half away, we'll reach Freedom Shabbat. Already Hashkama has an indoor kiddush, mask-free, because it's very difficult to eat with your mask on.
Right,
and
it's like flying, right? And the cinemas, you could also take off your mask if you're eating popcorn.
Yeah, so hopefully we will get to mask-free as well in Shul. We understand not everybody's ready to remove your masks, and we look forward to hearing how we're going to approach it so that everybody feels as comfortable as possible in Shul.
And when they do, make sure it's with a smile.
Even when you're wearing a mask.
Wonderful. So we look forward to seeing you next week. It'll be our last session before the summer break. And
wish you all a happy week.
Easy fast.
A morning week.
And maybe only share good news and ready to come home at some point.